2 weeks ago, our goat couldn't see.
Stay tuned to find out why she couldn't see then, but now she's all better.
Howdy, and welcome to the Bar SC Ranch, where you will experience our journey of running a family business, caring for animals, and doing life together. Subscribe now and be inspired here at the Bar SC.
Today we'd like to share with you an adventure that we went on 2 weeks ago. Goats are something that we have, and usually they're very healthy, but our day started off pretty normal. We were feeding, and Grace, who's actually videoing this video, happened to be walking around, and she noticed that our goat was not eating, and that is not normal. Normally our goats love to eat. I am so thankful that I was a veterinary nurse for 12 years, veterinary technician. And so I did a little bit of research and talked to some people that I know, but we acted quickly, and our story has a really great ending. But if we hadn't acted quickly, our story might not have ended so well. So Maddie, what did our goat suffer from 2 weeks ago?
She got polio, which stands for polioencephalomalacia, and it can be caused by two things, either sulfur toxicity or a thiamine, which is vitamin B1 deficiency.
So we have very high amounts of sulfur in our water and actually in our soil as well. And so we had to actually think really quickly, what could it be and what in the world could be causing these problems? So
they can get it from their water. If it has too much sulfur in it, they can get it from grain if they're on a high grain diet, or if they're on an improper supplement.
Our goats are exposed to, I would say, a little bit of a high level of sulfur. We have a lot of sulfur in our water. We do filter it out sometimes and filter it out for people, but we don't always for the animals. And so we had to look around at all of our other animals. They all seemed to be totally fine. So we figured that probably the amount of sulfur that was in the water at that time wasn't too great because the other animals around were acting normal and eating fine. So what did we decide it was, Maddie?
So we decided that it was deficiency of thiamine or vitamin B1. Some of the signs for polio are stargazing, which is when they kind of stare off into space, muscle spasms, so when they're kind of tremoring, apparent blindness, pressing their head up against a wall, laying their head actually all the way onto their own back.
So what we noticed with our goat specifically is, thankfully we caught her in the stargazing phase, but instead of eating and running over to her food like with all of her buddies, she was standing kind of off to the side and just staring off into space, which was really odd. Most of our goats and sheep never do that for any reason. We have had a goat in the past that had the head fully laid back over its back. And so that is definitely something, that's when the symptoms are getting a little bit worse. The other
Blindness.
thing that we had happen was complete blindness. So she started bumping into the wall. We noticed that she would we put her in a stall and she would press her head up into the wall, but it looked like she was definitely getting close to the wall, mostly because she couldn't see at all.
And if you laid the food in front of her, she wouldn't start eating because she didn't see that it was there. So, but if we tapped on it, or if we, put it up to her face, then she would eat it. Thiamine deficiency affects goats when the bacterial activity changes in the rumen, and it can cause major or acute acidosis or indigestion. The brain relies heavily on the thiamine in order to function properly, specifically neurologically. If the goats have polio, one of the ways that they'll show the symptoms of neurological dysfunction is when they stargaze or when they stumble and they can't quite move. When your goat is in early stages of polio, you'll notice more so things of stargazing and circling, whereas in the later stages, when they're further along, that's when they'll start laying their head back, actually all the way onto their back, or blindness.
And it's really important to act as quickly as possible at that point in time because you don't have many hours before the goat or sheep could pass away.
If it progresses too much, your goat will have a really hard time coming back, or sometimes they can't come back at all.
So we went and picked up a high-level B vitamin complex from our veterinarian. It's really important to listen to their instructions, but then to also still look at the label of the bottle. And our label says for calves, swine, and sheep, we're going to give 5 milliliters per 100 pounds of body weight. So here's where it's really good to have a livestock scale. So we do have a livestock scale. Our goat is around 85 pounds. And so we had to do the math. That's where math is really important in all of life. So I was going to show you what the B vitamin looks like when you draw it up. It's this really crazy kind of yellow orangey color like this. It definitely, you do not want to leave it out in the sun. It comes in a dark bottled container for a reason. We don't want to have it sit out in the sun at all, but that's what it looks like. And we had to give over 5 milliliters. For the first 2 days, we gave that twice a day. So right when we noticed the symptoms, which was actually for us early in the morning, so we gave it in the morning and the evening for the first 2 days, and then for 5 consecutive days after that, we gave it once a day. So the treatment took a total of 7 days. And
you give the same dosage every time.
You give the same dosage at each time. So that's really important, but that is how we treated our goat polio that was caused from a thiamine deficiency.
As far as preventing polio in your goats, the first thing that you want to make sure you do is feed as much roughage, so hay or grass, because that's naturally what they're really easily digesting. You want to limit any unlimited access to carbohydrates, such as if your goat gets out, you want to make sure that all of your grains or seeds and everything are in tubs where they can't reach them. As well as if your goats need to be on a high grain diet, whether they're show goats or you need them for different supplements that you're giving them, you want to make sure that you're also giving them either thiamine monotrate, probiotics, or brewer's yeast. And that'll help kind of level the bacterial activity in the rumen, and it'll help with any of the acidosis or indigestion that will occur if you don't. It took Kat almost a week to start showing serious improvement, but with the proper treatments, it can take as minimum of 4 days to start showing that they're getting much better.
We hope that you enjoyed learning about our little adventure with goat polio. We hope this could maybe be helpful to you in the future. Thank you so much for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe and leave a comment about what you'd like to see in future videos. We'll see ya back on the ranch.